Okay, this is The Flock from Poeter. That's the compilation of poetry. Poeteer, poet, in the action of ear, okay? I made up a word. Here's The Flock, 21. I love the Russian and Slavic peoples everywhere. I too proved disposition to fear, misconceived, astute, keen eyes, as cold, found myself pleasantly basking in their warmth and humor of how wrong I've always been on one fair, hot July Coney Island beach morning at sunrise, because there had been many a morning such as this spent before in passing each other in the morning sandpiper's shore, a comment about music, a comment about art, a comment about the sky, a comment about the sky being art when passing me by. And all this we all agreed. So in the spirit of Russian and Slavic peoples everywhere, and their warmth and humor with how their stories without thinking warm the world to a sigh, here's a story no one should pass by. Now, old Russian and Slavic women do not scare easily, especially with large men. Russian and Slavic people have never segregated or had any clothing on at their beaches, even if by law written for it, never been practical in the dead of winter or summer since humans existed. In addition, they have such a history of bloody turnover, with zero invasions themselves, far bigger than any state or British Isle, that everyone at least once has been on the wrong czar's list at some point in their history, some twice, every family there. So old Russian and Slavic peoples do not scare easily. And on this particular folktales morning, it was the same. We had ourselves a very proud flasher pulling their reins, fully loaded and fully naked, primed and pleading for any shock he could get from the exciting approach of the flock of little old polar bears and polar bear watchers coming back from the shore to their shower, where our flasher proudly bathed naked and grinning in a lather of soap at their favorite watering hole. No one had seen the flasher before, not there, so as our beloved little polar bear and polar bear watchers in their vibrant vintage rubber swimming caps each approached their shower after all, no matter how our flasher tried to shock them with his social naked sentence of "Behold," one little old polar bear or early morning polar bear watcher shoved our flasher aside and his display, as they had made boys shaped to see in a row, bigger in some cases, as the Bible says so, and if he thought his naked sentence of "Behold" was going to scare little old polar bears and polar bear watchers at their beach shower after all, he rudely learned as he was shoved aside by the little old rubber bathing caps from the stream of their shower as a flock of seagulls, cultured and wise, and from everywhere, to wash the sand from their behind, from their feet and their behind, joyful as if our flasher were not standing there at all. Outraged he was, as they kept pushing him aside in his lathered humiliation to wrench the sand from their hats, from their husbands' backs, in their linguistic arpeggios of tones of the stories of other places and times amongst themselves. Then off they were as a flock, changing sudden direction, in procession down the Coney Island boardwalk to breakfast, past our flasher's jaw-dropped face that not even he noticed in the shock of that moment. I watched our flasher rinse, hurt, dumbfounded. He dressed lonely and left completely unsatisfied. I must say this survivor was lucky to witness this Coney Island story. I collapsed into a puddle of tears and uncontrollable laughter, my eyes remembering the disappearing polar bear and polar bear watchers in their stage exit to the right till they were out of sight, and somehow I was better than before. And I love Russian and Slavic peoples everywhere, evermore.